Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we landed on the moon and probably could have made it back. I keep forgetting we don't have to do the same amount of rigor to get to Kerbin than we do to get to the moon, because the moon has such a smaller or lower atmosphere, i.e. basically none, that taking off is like super efficient. All we gotta do is make sure that we're actually pointed at Kerbin and end up in an orbit that allows us to burn for like 20 seconds at retrograde and return to the planet. So I actually think this ship is capable of making it. I'm gonna make some small alterations. I already removed, there was like some vestigial landing gear that I had here back when I had hoped that the second phase would be the lander, even though that's obviously ridiculous in hindsight. I reconfigured the fins so they're actually like on an axis with one another symmetrically, and I'm gonna add one more fuel tank, and I'm gonna add it to this section. If you'll give me a moment here, I'm gonna add it to this section, and this should have many different impacts. What did I just double clicked on that, and I don't know what I've done. It should have many different impacts. My expectation... That ain't right. Is that it will, Come on, though, dude. My expectation... What if we just place it like this? Is that it'll make our first burn, much worse. Like, our stage 1 of our rocket should not make it to like 100,000 or whatever it was making it to before. Can you just like mildly get adjusted instead of getting like why won't you just align yourself along this axis? I have hex snapping on. Is that my problem? Like Q and E, I want to hit something that's like in between the directions here. You're making this very, very difficult on me. What if we take off not the decoupler and instead do it like... Yeah, I mean, that's actually what we want, so... Thank you. Dude, I don't know what I've done. I've messed this up something fierce now. Trilateral symmetry. Why have you forsaken me? Okay, you know, we have the part that we want to replicate here. Just take it off and put it on with trilateral symmetry. That's like, that's right, actually. So we're going to, I can't believe that we managed to pull that back. We were using fins, right? These are basic fins? Basic fins? Not basic fins. Delta winglets? They are delta winglets, okay. So staging, you got 12 of these, this breaks, these fire, these break, this fires, you go to the end. Yeah, this seems right. So this is the Moonlander, test 6. If everything goes right, this should, oh, and don't forget about the ladder. Everyone important needs a ladder. A subtractor gets you in the... Do we even have a ladder? Is that ground? We might not have a ladder. I'm assuming that would be in utility. Launch, escape, parachutes, crew cabin. Science, no. Communication, I'm assuming no, but I'll check. We can use, like, we have EVA jetpacks, more or less, that we can use to just, burst up to the top here with a little, you know, jetpack, but I don't know if that's, what in the world? I don't know if that's going to be, enough, but, you know, again, these are kind of problems for a later day. So, again, I don't think I've done a good job of explaining myself early here. I think what I expect to happen is our apoapsis after, our apoapsis after stage 1 has typically been about 100,000 meters. I think it'll probably be a lot less. I wouldn't be surprised to see it around 65 to 70,000. So we'll try to get into maybe a shallower orbit around Kerbin instead of shooting for that, like, moon shot, which is ironic because we are going to the moon, I suppose. But we're going to get much, much more distance, if not velocity, out of our next phase, which is the phase with the liquid fuel engines that comes basically right now. So yeah, apoapsis is going to be around 80,000 meters. And we actually, I know it's going to decay a little bit because we're still in the atmosphere. I don't think it's going to decay that much. So I'm going to try not to essentially burn at all. But I am going to burn just a little bit as I pivot here, in the hopes of getting a more stable apoapsis. Yeah, it's decaying much more slowly now. And we used essentially zero fuel. I don't know how important that maneuver was, but I'm happy with it. Alright, so we want to stop just about here. And of course we've, as is tradition, we've overshot it ever so slightly. And it's a good time for a quick save. Phase 1 is done. And the extra fuel tanks didn't seem to impact us too much on the way up. So that's a big positive. So here we want to warp to, you know, maybe... it's freaking me out here, but... you know, just a couple of seconds before apoapsis, which allows us to keep the apoapsis rising while we burn to try to reach orbit, which I think is very important. For me, at least on, like, a mental level. Okay. Let's get a view of the orbit extending here. It's gonna take some time. Ooh, gonna taste. I don't remember the line from Toto's magnum opus Africa. I mean, I know he says it's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. But at the end of the song, he goes like, "Well, I'm gonna take some time." You remember? We all remember this. Alright. Slowly but surely. We have crossed apoapsis, which to me always seems like I have messed up in terms of my piloting. But I think that even if our piloting, well, even if our fuel is not great, we should still be completely fine as long as we do as well as we did on the last episode in terms of piloting, but just do better when we take off from the surface of the moon. I recognize this thing's not dead center in the screen. Trust me, it bothers me as much as it bothers you. Okay, you've got a prograde marker I respect a lot more right now, although I wish you would adjust yourself slightly here. Thank you. So this stage has gone a lot worse, in my opinion. And I think that maybe it's gone roughly the same. But it's clear that the fuel tanks didn't accomplish exactly what I wanted. So let's set the moon as our target. And then we're basically just going to set a maneuver node. We're going to pull out the prograde marker until we have an orbit that... more slowly than that, obviously. So we have an orbit that intersects with... the moon's orbit, I should say. That looks good to me. And then we're gonna move it until we have... I mean, like... I actually... this game is a marvel, and I'm not at all being facetious, but it would benefit from having the world's greatest, like, UX designer take a look at it for, like, 6 months and being like, what are you doing? Alright, so there's a... it's not like I could do any better. I feel like, you know, sometimes there's a lot of games out there where if you ever criticize them, people get angry. And, like, if you criticize any aspect of it, the community jumps on you. That's not necessarily fair because a lot of my criticisms are based in ignorance, so sometimes I deserve it. But the Kerbal Space Program community is really good about recognizing, like, yeah, it's one of the most fun sandboxes ever made, but there are parts of it that are, like, mind-boggling. The UI is, like, I get that it's gotta have a lot of things going on, but, I mean, it's complicated. You're launching a rocket, right? And then maneuvering said rocket and sometimes landing said rocket on a different celestial body and then trying to return. But sometimes you're just like, man, dude, it's like, look at this screen. First few times you play this, you're going to be like, what in the world is happening? Anyway, we made it to this stage. So I think, again, standard, we'll just go speed 10 here. Keep ourselves roughly aligned along that maneuver node until 14 seconds until burn. I don't want to go 5 times faster than this. That's asking for trouble, I think. So 14 seconds roughly is where we want to stop here. It's the height of impatience. I don't want to wait for 6 seconds. Are we going to get 27 seconds of fuel out of... We should go. Are we going to get 27 seconds of fuel out of our tanks here? No. So we will have to engage the stage. Mid-maneuver. And now the burn's going to be 20 seconds. But remember, last time we did it, it actually took us... when we got to this stage, we had to burn for like 1 minute and 50 seconds or something like that. So, dude, the maneuver nodes are actually like 10 out of 10. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and stop the burn. Okay. We are... If we delete this node, we should be good. Go look at this. We are making an encounter with the moon. Please warp me here. We're almost there. Okay, good stuff. Now we want to burn on the retrograde. And we've done this many times in a... And yeah, I was going to say many times in a row, and the answer is yes, we have. At first I was going to be a little bit more dismissive, but we have managed to maneuver to the moon fairly easily, especially since the maneuver node tutorial, which again, I can't express my thanks on an appropriate level there. It's decaying. Very slowly. It might have, like, I'm at a distance to it, which might be causing part of the problems here, but, we're gonna have a ton of fuel for landing. And again, I think as long as we have roughly as much fuel as we had for takeoff last time, we can do it now that I'm hopefully, if not a little smarter, at least a little bit more experienced about, you know, what I'm looking for out of this situation. I think this is going to be the one. We're not bringing Jebediah back on this one, but we can bring ourselves back on this one and get 100 science and pick up a level in something. So, again, just try to, you know, cut it like here. I don't know what the purple node is, and that scares me. Oh, it's our moon escape? Okay. That's fine. All right. Again, 2 million meters above the surface, so we'll just do a quick save, and then we'll speed it up pretty drastically for the time being. Like, it's taking us a while here. That's fine, though. Well, dude, last time it took us about exactly... Well, not about exactly. That's a bit of a ridiculous statement, but... it took us roughly the same amount of time. It was like 1 day and slightly less than 1 hour. So we've been a little slower this time, but, you know... Oh, are you hungry, Valentina? Sorry, I was busy sending you to the freaking moon. Slow your roll. You're at 167,000 meters. Should probably start to think about managing our horizontal velocity now, because I would say less than 5 minutes from landing. Trying to get that maneuver node roughly positioned over... Not the maneuver node, sorry, the retrograde marker. Slowly positioned over the polar indicator on our navigational ball. That appears to roughly be correct here. It's correct-ish. We'll boost a little bit here. Also disabled sticky keys in the last episode, which might be the single greatest advancement in our series so far. So then, like, the last thing, just like a little bit like that. I think that's perfect, dude. So let's, again, another quick save just in case. Good work, good work. Tons of fuel left for now. We usually do use a lot on landing. But you've done the maneuver that roughly, you know, your horizontal velocity is low right now. I would say not zero, but low. We are landing in kind of a crater-rich environment. And that's fairly scary for me. And we'll start to slow down a little bit here. You know, we're actually in... There's a little patch of flat ground here that I think might be completely okay. So let's get our landing gear out. And I think that for right now, we're gonna need to slow down a little faster than this. The ground is coming into clarity a lot faster than I'd like. I think I overestimated the speed at which we would slow down here. But no. Okay, I think we're gonna be fine. We're rapidly decelerating now. And our horizontal velocity seems okay to me. Like a birthday or a pretty view. There you go, okay. So we're descending, but slowly. And it's getting slower. So we know that just with a quick little hit of the shift key here, we can slow ourselves down more drastically, which might be important here as we get lower and lower. Still slowing down. Trying to preserve some fuel as well, so we have a little bit more tolerance for our escape. Oh, I have messed up the nav ball something fierce. So let's correct that real quick. Good. It's much easier when you're not doing this with full throttle bursts, I'll admit. So we want to continue. I think our goal is we want to descend, and we want to descend at a decreasing rate, i.e. our speed relative to the ground is getting slower. This is not the correct way to describe this from a physics standpoint, but we're approaching the ground slowly, and increasingly slowly as time goes on. It's not quite zero horizontal velocity, but I think I'm roughly at the point where that is going to be tough to productively change. I lost focus for a second there, I'll admit. Probably not something you want to do as you're landing on a celestial body. Land a little slower than that, please. Okay, your horizontal velocity is way too high. Oh, no. Okay, I got... I'll be the first to tell you. Got real impatient there. And resorting to bad habits now. Holy crap! Despite the horribly botched landing, we made it. Okay, get that science, keep the experiment, take a crew report, which I haven't done the last couple times because I had no optimism that we were going to make it back. Should have put a thermometer, should have put a barometer on this thing, but dude, that's so huge for us that we managed to do that landing. Just goes to show you our rocket construction is way better than it used to be. So we'll quick save, and we're going to take off and turn to the east. And again, with no atmosphere, should be very easy to lift off here. Watch your vector very closely. Wonder if we cut it and then just like our apoapsis is not going to decay. What if we set like a maneuver node? And again, we're going to pull out our prograde marker. We need to get an intersection with... What have I done? Delete this, fam. Yeah, okay. How long till apoapsis? We got a little time. Add maneuver. We want to get a Kerbal orbit here. I don't know if such a thing is possible. Well, tell you what, just burn straight up a little longer here. Forget your maneuver node for now. Just get yourself into space. Get rid of this thing. No, it doesn't deserve to be here anymore. At apoapsis. Add maneuver. Extend that prograde, baby. Is he doing it? Like, it sort of seems like we want this. Yeah, oh, dude, this is perfect. Okay. Estimated burn, 30 seconds. Time to burn, 14 minutes and 17 seconds. We got 30 seconds of burn in this thing. I promise you this. So we'll go at speed 100 just for now. We should slow down to maybe like speed 10 pretty soon. Oh, never mind. This is going to crash us into the surface of the moon. Because our maneuver node, unfortunately, relied on us going around the surface of the planet here. Okay, well this is an autosave, or an auto load, I should say, which I hate to do because it means I can't revert. But this is the whole crux of this mission is getting back. Otherwise, I'm not going to say this video has no reason to exist, but we have to at least make an attempt to get back. I think we should maybe hear me out here. Go straight up. I want to go around the moon. I want to use the moon as like a slingshot. It might not be the most efficient. It's because we're facing Kerbal, maybe, that this is a little trickier. Like, we might even want to accelerate to the west instead of the east. Well, that's... Again, we're not very fuel rich, so let's add a maneuver. And again, we're just going to extend this bad boy out like this. So, again, what's purple, dude? Purple might just be Kerbin. The Mun escape. Yeah, I mean, that's sweet, right? Like, that's an escape, but how do I re-enter? I mean, this looks good as long as I don't crash into the surface of the moon mid-maneuver. Wait, and the maneuver's right here, so how far away is it? 5 minutes and 13 seconds? So it's clear that I'm missing one extra fundamental level of understanding here. But we'll try. We appear to not be returning to the moon just yet, which is great. So at roughly T-minus 24 seconds is when we want to do our maneuver here. Do we have 48 seconds of burn? I'll be honest with you, that one might be a little close, but we're about to find out. T-minus 24 seconds. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. Let's go. I think we're totally going to have enough time. And then it basically should just be, as long as we stay on the maneuver node, more or less. Probably not something you want to hear from a NASA scientist, more or less. We should be able to do this without accidentally colliding with the celestial body. So we got another 13 seconds. 10 seconds of fuel? Come on, I know you got me here. I think we already got it. Stop. Okay. Delete the maneuver node. What does yellow mean? I'm so scared now. Okay. So just go, you probably can go speed at 100 for now. You're in space. So I'm assuming we're going to escape the moon's orbit. And then, like, this is the escape from the moon? Yeah. And then as we escape from the moon, we should be recaptured by Kerbin. And we have an orbit that's actually going to decay. So, that's pretty swell. Slow your roll a little bit. Where are we at here? Couple mil... Oh, 5 million up. Okay. Speed up a little bit more. Like to times 1,000. And probably slow it down right here. 700,000 up. So what's the next step? Well, we do want to burn our fuel. So we'll get aligned. We don't have much of it, but we might as well slow ourselves down. So the heat shield stands a chance re-entering the atmosphere here, right? And I just realized I didn't attach any decouplers to these things. So I'm pretty sure our fuel tanks are going to explode. That could be completely okay as long as there's no fuel in them. Oh, no, wait, no, they're attached to the decoupler. Okay. So, I mean, the next steps are very simple. You decouple. You continue to keep yourself pointed along the retrograde. And then we just hope the heat shield can handle this because we're pretty much everywhere. We're coming in hot. So, can you go to speed 1 for a second, please? Because we want to close the science doors, because that's even more science if we manage to return successfully. And we're still roughly pointed along the retrograde, which is what we need to do in order to give our heat shield a chance to keep us alive here. So I'm a little upset because it accelerated like through the... Just close that, please, and load the last quick save. Please tell me I don't have to do the maneuver. I deserve this. I deserve to have to do this because of my impatience. So, but you know, it's good practice regardless. So we're gonna go straight up. And again, that was very stupid of me. I should have quick saved, but I was like, how can I mess it up? You just gotta collide with the Earth. I didn't activate the parachute, so that fair to say caused some problems. So I want apoapsis to be like maybe 30,000. And this is just basically me eyeballing it, and then we're gonna add a maneuver Like, if you could actually add a maneuver. You can't add a maneuver. Like, why, though? Okay, so this is where you'll pivot to the east and do, like, the mildest burn in Earth's history, because what we want to do is now create enough space for me to be able to click here. That's a little known... Oh, no, slash. That's a little known trick of the trade, is you gotta extend your approach vector so you can actually click on it. Most people don't know that. That's an old NASA trick from way back. So we want to extend this until we see, like, a little purple orbit that we like. I.e., like, not that. That's pretty good, although that... You know what? You got it. Good work, team. Is this going to work? We escape from the moon here, shoot around, and then collide back with the Earth at 1,000,000 miles per second. Sick. So we're already late for this maneuver, so let's adjust it slightly. I don't know what I've done here. You know what? This is a good time for another quick save load. I'm a little upset with myself, to be honest. But it's all in the name of learning. Sure, it's going to take us 80 quick saves to get back to Kerbin, but that's better than our previous track record, which is 80 quick saves to not get us back. Close these bad boys, please. Okay. 30,000 meters. That's perfect. Add maneuver. Just going to pull this out. So we're going to hit escape from the moon, and then we get pulled back into Kerbin's atmosphere at a periapsis of 404,000. That's not good enough. No periapsis. That's more along the lines of what I'm looking for there. When's our maneuver? 1 minute and 6 seconds. And we've got to burn for 50 seconds. I think it's doable. So let's... At T-minus 25 seconds, we want to be good to go here. We botched it a little bit, but even if we mess up the maneuver slightly, like we don't have quite enough time to accomplish it, we should still be in an unstable orbit, and then just, I think the real key is to not hit times 1,000 speed time warp by accident, and then you're probably going to be a much happier camper. So I think we're definitely going to have enough fuel to execute this burn, which is pretty sick. And we just got to extend this until we get to the point that we actually escape from the moon instead of violently crashing back into it at a rapid pace. Yeah, that's the ticket. 3, 2, 1, stop. I think we've gone too far. That's fine. I think that's fine, because we're going to... I mean, we weren't off by much. It should be okay. I mean, yellow is our actual trajectory, or is yellow our maneuver trajectory? No, yellow is going to be our actual trajectory. So now, quick save, and you should just be able to basically accelerate. Nothing else you do has any effect at this point. Okay, so this is us. Again, we don't have to burn off our fuel, I think. That's just... It might save us a couple 100 meters per second on re-entry, which might give us a better chance, but... Also kind of the opinion that might not matter too much. But you know what? While we're here, why not take advantage of it, right? So, I don't know if it matters when we do it. Just get the slightest bit of fuel usage here so we can actually do our maneuver. Slow ourselves. It's actually slowing us down quite a lot. But we will, again, speed up before we hit the end here. Mostly I'm just doing this to get rid of our fuel. Okay. And at this point, we're still descending towards the surface of the planet, so decouple. I mean, I think we should maybe just activate our parachute right away, but we'll go to speed 100 as we rapidly descend here, and we're not going to go any faster than that. We do also want to keep ourselves, I mean, we're still very high above the surface, but we're going to keep ourselves aligned roughly along the retrograde so that the heat shield takes the brunt of the damage, if I even have a heat shield, which, to be honest with you, I do not recall. Thankfully, past me is a little smarter than future me and did put a heat shield on there. So it might seem like this episode's been kind of botched, and in some ways it has been, but this is also, if we succeed, it represents like the single greatest thing we've ever done in Kerbal Space Program. You know, it took multiple episodes of testing, designing, debugging, you know, learning how to fly better. We're coming in real hot, but there you go. You've activated the parachute. I think we lost our science module, and then we exploded. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is figure out re-entry. But apart from that, we were at least we brought the body back. For now, though, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. We're going to do this.